Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson-Miller, and a very special welcome to our viewers on onespotmedia.com. Well, every year at around this time, we have this big argument over Carnival, dancehall on one side, soca on the other side. You know, are people biased against one, biased against the other? What's the future of both? We're going to be talking through those issues this evening. And joining me in studio, we have Marlon Campbell, Events Coordinator. We also have Dr. Donna Hope, Lecturer of Caribbean Studies at the University of the West Indies, and with us as well, Kamal Banki, Chairman of Sports and Entertainment at the Tourism Ministry, also Director of Exodus Dream Weekend, and Dr. Kai Barrett with us as well, Lecturer at the University of Technology. Just before we go to them, though, we went out onto the streets to get some views from members of the public.
Right, so I mean, in Jamaica, I think they are, I wouldn't say they are treated any differently. I would just say that they are, accepted a little differently. For example, dancehall and reggae, it's much more acceptable, globally. I would say soca and carnival, not so much more objectively to Jamaica in terms of the audience, gays and lesbians, not so accepting of dancehall. But carnival and soca and so forth, they are more accepting towards that.
Yes, I believe it is, because on a regular basis where you have soca people coming in the country, they normally get better treatment because it's a tourism thing, I think. So you normally have more people coming out for soca, and you have people coming from abroad for soca. And just recently, the other day, you have a lot of persons that came out for it. So I believe that they're treated differently than the dancehall.
Basically, yes, because for dancehall, they don't get to use the roads. For soca, they get to use the road and they have road marches and stuff like that. For like dancehall parties, they have to do it in like an enclosed area and stuff. So yeah, basically yeah, but not much of a major difference because Jamaicans love dancehall. But soca is seen more as like for everybody, like it's international. So they don't want it to be enclosed, and it's always bigger than dancehall parties. If you get what I'm saying.
Yes, in a sense, because of the uptown-downtown phenomenon, where the reggae is concerned, the uptown folks think, yes, it belongs to the downtown folks, okay? And as for the carnival, it's for the uptown people. But it goes both ways. When they take it out at the end of the day, both genres love it, yes, and the reggae people, they love carnival also, but the uptowns love, So what I'm saying then, it's different treatments. And as they say, different strokes for different folks. So they want their folks to stay with the reggae, and the reggae folks want the carnival folks to stay with carnival. But at the end of the day, everybody has to unite.
No, not really, because all of them have them fan base, and soca is a seasonal thing around this time right now. So you don't see more soca going on right now. But during the year, yeah, people prefer dance more, because dancehall is the thing. You don't most say dancehall people, and I'm sort of a reggae fan, but through reggae you can barely hear reggae these days. So you don't see more dancehall happening, like Vibes Cartel, Alkaline, Massacre, and them people. So I would say there is a preference between them. There's just the fan base.
Yes, basically reggae and dancehall is getting a fight. In the garrison, the dancehall is being played and locked off early. While soca, you get a soca vibe straight till morning with Juve and all of that. So I don't really understand, is there a competition going on or what? They don't like dancehall music and reggae? Because soca is very slap. To me, it's a very slap music, and to me, dancehall is slap, but you still have parts in dancehall that they cut out, right? And basically, reggae music is taking over the world. It's a great brand right now. And I think that more reggae should be played out there than soca. And Jamaicans should appreciate the culture.
Dancehall has always been associated with the ghetto and the lower class of people, and carnival with the upper echelon of society. So of course there is some separation between the two of them, and there's not much fair treatment being given out. So I feel that there is a definite separation, and it shows up with the people that go to carnival and the people that partake in dancehall. Not to say that people from uptown don't go downtown to party in the dancehall, but there is a clear disparity between the type of people that go there, the money is spent, and the time put in promotion. So yeah, there is a difference.
Okay, well, what do our panelists say? Marlon Campbell, let me start out with you and tell me, what is it you hear when we have these discussions every year?
I think what we're hearing is a very limited view in terms of a lot of persons are arguing emotionally. You know, it's from emotion without actually putting a lot of thought behind what is
Meaning
being
what?
argued.
Tell me what you mean.
You're going to state something like, dancehall is getting a fight because it's being locked off. A lot of times things are locked off because they literally don't have a permit. Or we couldn't put a road parade. Have you tried to actually put a road parade? Have a group of dancehall promoters come together and say, we want to have this happen. Let us work together and let's actually lobby the government and so forth. Let us ask for the extended permits. Let's ask for the festival, be granted the festival status. No one has done this yet. It's not going to happen. They're going to lock it off. You haven't done it, so how would you know that they're going to lock it off? And then why are we trying? Because each genre is kind of different, you know, and ask for a different type of expression. They're expressed differently. I'm going to say possibly a parade isn't the best avenue in which to actually have the dancehall expression. You know, soca might work with that because that's the roots of soca. But why are we arguing about soca versus dancehall versus looking at how we can make dancehall work better for us financially?
Hold that thought, because we're going to come back to all of that. Donna Hope, what do you think, though? Is it all emotional, or is there no basis for saying one is treated differently from the other?
Well, this debate, you know, Dion, is very long-standing. It's been going on for 27 years, to my knowledge, since Byron Lee first brought Jamaica Carnival to the streets of Jamaica. So this is not something that is new. And a lot of it is based less on the permits, which, again, in 1990, there were no permits. There was no Noise Abatement Act. None of that existed. But based more on the kind of knee-jerk reaction that people have in seeing what they're trying to rationalize what is happening, but they're seeing a certain set of values being displayed in one instance and being supported in different ways by corporate Jamaica, by people, by even religious different people in one area, and then at the same time, in the same location, the same country, another type of entity that resides in that country being thrown out, you see? So it has been happening for 27 years in this country, and we have still not been able to come to a clear understanding as to what is going on behind the scenes.
So you're saying there is some basis for discussion?
There is a strong basis for discussion, and what we have to do is move away from arguing about who is supposed to get permit and who is not, and try to flesh out what are the underlying things that are prompting this discussion every year at the same time.
Yes, come on, Banky, your thoughts.
So, I come to the table asking about data. I mean, it's not about emotion for me. For me, you know, as you know, one of the directors of Exodus, as well as one of the directors of Dream Weekend, I'm on both sides of the fence. Exodus is not even quarter the size of what Dream Weekend is. But Exodus is one of the biggest carnival parades out there currently. Dancehall nationally, reggae nationally are way bigger than soca. And what we're able to do with dancehall, you could do the same with soca and vice versa. It's just whether or not, as Marlon said, does dancehall need a parade? Yes or no? You might not. Dancehall roots is around a lawn, a hall. That's the essence of dancehall. Permits and professionalism is another thing. So the promoters who actually put on these events, whether it is soca or dancehall or reggae, if they're professional about their craft and what they do and their product, they're going to get the same treatment. They're going to be treated fairly, whether it is EDM, soca, reggae, dancehall, whatever it is.
Hold that thought. Dr. Barrett, what do you think?
I think the discussion is needed, especially around this time. Yes, we know Jamaica is a dancehall reggae country, but we can't ignore, as Dr. Hope said, the infiltration of soca and carnival in the last 27 years. It's nowhere near the numbers for a dancehall or a reggae event, but it is there, right? And social, cultural issues cannot be ignored. They are there, and Marlon is saying it's not emotional. I think it's very emotional. Jamaicans have a thing about ownership, and they own a lot of cultural products. And then you have this thing like carnival and soca coming in that's imported. It's nowhere near Jamaican. So that must cause some sort of conflict. And this is not just typical to Jamaica. Carnival in general is a site for conflict and contestation. We think it's all revelry and having a good time, which is true to an extent, but we tend to ignore the inequalities and the conflicts and the tensions under all that revelry.
Like what?
Social inequalities, the uptown, downtown, the sexism, the violence, it's all there.
All right, a lot of that I actually want to pick up on, because I was listening to all of you and wondering, in fact, if you're all ignoring those very real issues of the uptown, downtown, of the skin color, of the people who say you can have a brown girl in a half naked doing things where if you put a black girl in a dancehall costume, all of a sudden hell and powder house and people start coming down. And I'm wondering if we're kind of trying to sidestep that and ignore that. But let me go to the break and then we'll come back with that. You're watching All Angles. You can text me. It's 4299924, 4299924. Give me your first name, give me your location, and tweet me at DJ Miller JA. Soon come.